We're back. We're
All
live.
right. Is it working? I think it's working. I can't tell. I can't tell. Oh, that's okay. Hey, welcome back to the Gregory and Paul show. I'm Gregory,
I'm Paul.
and we always break down the latest SaaS, startups, AI. Our Elon clips are always popular, so we'll have Elon Corner every week. Paul, how are we doing on the podcast platforms?
Podcast. Yeah, we're uploading every single week. People are
Does,
listening.
does
Number
anyone watch
one
those?
podcast. Soon. Can't claim it
we
right now. Soon.
we're almost at 100 subscribers on YouTube, so that's cool.
It's huge.
I think we figured out YouTube, but I've never listened to us on Spotify. Have you?
I do. That's actually how I consume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. For sure. For all podcasts, I listen to you on Spotify.
Dude, we have a lot to talk about today.
What's number one? What's the
Ah,
most
sh-
exciting AI tech
yeah.
news?
I can't
Kick us
believe
off.
that OpenAI has finally announced their ad product.
Our product.
Yeah.
So
So here, let's
they rumor something came out what like 2-3 months ago, and then Sam
yeah.
backtracked on it, and then now they're back.
Yeah, let's share. Let me share quickly this screen because like I got like Adweek already ran something on this. Um, announcement. I actually don't think there's like a date in here. And then there's a blog post this quotes, but this has been long rumored, and I'm sure on this show, but in other places, I've been saying that like they better get this uh out the door. I think that they should have had it out last
6 months.
year.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
now it's coming out this year, and the article even mentions that perhaps that was part of what was in the code red or the red alert
Mm.
whatever Sam did, but I think it's good. Obviously, or there's some speculation that they're trying to get this out in time for the Super Bowl,
Hey, right,
right? Makes sense.
right.
Like digital tie-ins, Super Bowl have always been a way to introduce ad products. Twitter did that at one point, and so I think it makes a lot of sense. And they might get some traction. I have no idea though. I haven't heard of anyone's actually buying anything around Super Bowl or how this is going to get rolled out. But it's interesting the reaction. Like I'm on the marketing side, and I was like, look, marketers are like excited. They're like, I need a new channel. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Google
yeah.
search is going away, clicks are dying, just everything is expensive and difficult. So a new channel that they can take advantage of, I think, is something that marketers are looking for. But of course, for users, people are like, oh, it's the end of ChatGPT. Now it's going to be influencing all of the content.
Right.
Uh,
That's right.
yeah.
So
What are your thoughts on this? Yeah.
they're coming out with a cheaper access subscription.
It looks
S-
like that's the case, right? Is that there will be a. So what it says here is that they today we're bringing Go, so ChatGPT Go, which is the like low cost version, uh, to the US and everywhere ChatGPT is available, giving people expanded access messaging, image creation, file uploads meant for $8 a month. In the coming weeks, we're also planning to start testing ads. So it looks like whatever the Go version, that's the one that I guess you'll pay and you'll get ads. So they need to monetize.
So that makes sense, right? So it's going to be more than the free access. So $8 plus ads gets you all access. I think that's smart.
Does
Very,
it
very
mean that the free tier has ads? It has to, right?
fast too. Yeah, for sure.
I don't,
For sure.
it doesn't actually specifically say uh it's said through the low cost subscription tier. Interesting. It's funny. I've had the paid version for so long now. I'm not even aware of like I wasn't actually aware that there was an $8 version.
Right. I didn't know either.
Yeah, I've been using the $20 a month one. I even canceled a
So,
bunch of other stuff, and I still use Chat because there's a lot of stuff in there.
yeah. So what I'm wondering is, will the ads affect the actual conversation?
Of course.
Have they said no? Like it will not affect?
Yeah, there's a long blog post that they wrote,
Yeah.
and of course, like they have to publicly state that
Right. 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 Yeah,
the
won't
content
influence.
integrity won't be influenced by the advertising. But as we know, with like, this is actually quite interesting question, right? Like, because like as we know with Google, like there are, let's say, influences on the content. Are they advertising driven? Are they business decisions? Like, there's a lot of ways to kind of spin it. What happened with Google, which I don't know if this will happen with ChatGPT, but is that they would have a big category of advertising that was popular, and they would actually release a competing product, and then they would take a lot of that
Yeah.
traffic and send
Yeah.
it to their own application. It's
Yeah.
kind of it's technically, I think, different than like influencing the editorial or the content. Um, right? Like it's not actually influencing the content, but it is influencing the ecosystem.
The
And it's
ecosystem.
definitely influencing like business and advertisers, right? So
Okay. Okay. So it will. Yeah. Right. This is gonna happen. And then now, do they, like all other social media, do they optimize time spent? You know,
what do you mean?
more people spending time in ChatGPT, more ads are served. They make more money, right? All social media optimized to keep people on the platform. So ChatGPT will probably do something similar. Right?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I mean, we had, Andrea from Thread on, right? And so Thread is an early LLM ad network that puts ads in other LLMs, non-ChatGPT. And so there was a lot of questions about like measurement and how the ads perform and stuff. So it's still really early. I don't think it's clear what is the right metric to optimize to, like how you would increase ad load. They're still trying to test this stuff. Like one theory that a lot of people, let's say, are betting on for this year is that the ads will be really popular with retail, so commerce. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of, was like travel, and then just retail. Like, I mean, what I want is the ability to like just talk to my phone and say, buy me some new drive train cleaner for my bicycle, and it just
Yep.
goes and gets it for me from Amazon or whatever. I mean, it's all like LLM driven, and so I guess in that scenario, perhaps there's an ad for like a different version of it or something. But that's where I see as like chats happening about products, and then the product recommendations are sponsored. I can't say how that's not the number one use case. Maybe restaurants.
So do you think that retailers, or not retailers, or aggregate sites are in trouble? Right. So Expedia, let's say, people go on to Expedia for travel, to book hotels, rent cars, to buy plane tickets. Now they can all do this in ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's a
It,
really interesting question.
they're massively in trouble, right? Like they're a public company
Dude,
now,
I
right?
don't know. I feel like there's one part of it that's like there's so much demand right now because Google's declined so significantly in terms of the traffic that it drives, that everyone's looking for an option. And if you have an option where it's there's a lot more traffic to be able to people to buy, it could be good for the whole ecosystem. Like some of this is just supply and demand, right? Like there's a lot more. So right now the supply, the ability to buy traffic and reach users is being constrained. And so if now there's just more places to buy ads, in some regard, the price might go down for everybody and the performance might just be better. It's that big that it could impact this. I remember when Facebook launched their first mobile ad product, and then initially, like to drive business, it was like dirt cheap. It was like super cheap. So if
Yeah.
I was OpenAI, that's what I would do. I would
Yeah.
make the pricing so ridiculously cheap to just win a lot of business. So there's theoretically like a huge arbitrage opportunity coming for people to take advantages and buy a bunch of low cost advertising and traffic
ChatGPT.
and kind of scoop up a bunch of
Who's
users or traffic, whatever you're trying to aim for.
who's the biggest loser in this? Google Ads? Would you say search ads providers?
Users,
Users, of course, of course.
yeah. I mean, like you knew it was inevitable, right? That like they're gonna stuff ads in here, and like You know, I take them at face value to some degree that they aspire to want the content to be
Yeah,
editorially neutral. Very hard to do. So I
true.
believe that they will at least aim for that, but it will influence the content, and it'll change the nature of how the product works. It's just how it's gonna play out. I don't think there's anything sinister. People get really up in arms about this stuff, but I'm not that negative. But I do think that like it just will change. It'll change the
Or change
experience.
the platform, right? For sure.
And then well, this dude, like, what if they open up the ability to buy content on like controversial topics? I mean, like ads
But
have influence. Yeah, like political content, right? Like they could let people buy that, and then so by the nature of how advertising works, someone who's a big ad buyer could just influence the content because they bought a lot of ads. I mean, that's how advertising works.
this opens up a huge thing because then advertisement brand safety is going to be a problem, right? You don't want somebody to be searching,
There's a lot of questions that, like,
right.
I assume that they're not going to allow like adult content. I mean, I
They
think they have
actually they came out saying that adult content or adult writing is okay on ChatGPT, right?
some forms of it, right?
In some forms, yeah, you can use ChatGPT to create exotic writing, let's say, um,
Exotic.
exotic writing, and
I don't want to know how you know this, Paul, but I'll take. I believe you.
what's going to be hilarious is like Disney like that. They're not going to want to run ads side by side with that. So
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
ability of so look, this raises a question of real-time observability into your conversation, right? You're giving access to advertisers to say that I don't want to be running ads inside of these kind of conversations. So,
Yeah, yeah. What I've seen with um the examples that are running now in other LLMs is that the ads are very effective
of
from like
course,
a marketing perspective.
I believe
Yeah, I
you.
think most users, like nerds who are not obviously watching a live stream like this, they don't care. They're not even all that aware that they're ads. They're just happy that their problem got solved. And like I needed like a ticket to wherever, and I figured out how to get it, and it was easy. I
Yeah,
needed to buy drivetrain cleaner for my bicycle, and I got that, right? That's what the end users like actually care about. And LLMs, at least in some contexts that I've seen, are actually really good because you can ask questions like this. Like if you're having this conversation, let's use the bike drivetrain cleaner example because I think it's actually a very good one, right? Is this non-toxic? Is it like you could just ask a bunch of questions that you have about the product, right? Like when will it be able to be delivered, right? Like if you could have that conversation LLM, that's actually really a good user experience and trying to like click around on Amazon and
yeah, read
avoid
the
like
reviews.
all the noise. Yeah, like and all the reviews are full of just like spam. And they're not very believable anymore, or I don't believe them. And so having a conversation with LLM about a product and you're just trying to get like basic information, I think it could be a really good
Right.
experience.
There's a level of trust. You're trusting the LLM to be factual, let's say, you know.
Yeah, so factual is an interesting term. Has to, it has to. I think ultimately, I would say something like satisfy the user. I don't know if they're facts. I think they are like measured on like the user's status. Because if the user asks questions and then they get the product and they're happy with it, that's the measure. The facts.
Right.
I think this isn't like this. I think this is actually a very important point that like because I've been in marketing a long time. Like facts is an interesting term. Like users don't want facts; they want solutions. It doesn't matter. The facts are not important. What's important is like he got the train cleaner that he wanted on time and it cleaned his bike correctly. That's what they want, right? The facts might be a different. It's kind of a side quest to some degree. Anyway.
Got it. So the measurement's going to change it. Like it's
It's
going to
super
be user
interesting.
satisfactory to AI ads or AI
I hope
conversations.
so.
That's
Yeah, I think it has to some degree play out like that, right? But yeah, big news.
what's
Should we? Yep.
Predictions on when they're going to roll this out. When
Ah.
can Paul buy?
I mean, like I said, dude, if I was them, I would be racing to get this out for Super Bowl,
Right.
and I would do some tests and stuff. Like, uh, and like they announced it January 16th. Like, do you know what day the Super Bowl is? It's in a few
February.
weeks. Yeah, I don't follow football anymore. I wish I've had more free time to follow sports. I do like sports a lot, but I don't have the free time. Like I go to a baseball game, it takes all day. I don't have all day to go watch baseball. But it's coming up, and that was why I thought they made the announcement now, was that they want to have some type of like ad execution available to test during Super Bowl. But that's just my assumption.
So people can search up football facts and ChatGPT have arguments with their friends.
No, I think it's gonna be like Doritos and Bud Light. You
That's right.
know,
Yeah, all the
who's
usual
it's
stuff.
always Doritos. There's always like 10 Budweiser commercials. There's always like some wild card SaaS company that decides they want to do one and then they never do it again.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. The
there's
Coinbase of the
usually
world,
Coinbase actually
companies.
did a really great job with that QR code. I thought that was fantastic personally.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, much better than the ChatGPT ad.
I was not a fan of the ChatGPT ad they did last year. I got pretty heated about that on X. I was like, this is garbage. I'm not a fan.
What other news are?
All right, so we move on. Yeah, we've talked about OpenAI. What do we got in our document? Okay,
Uh, Apple.
Gemini.
So unlikely. I did not have this on my bingo card, but kind of predicted that it was coming. Google is partnershiping with Apple into a multi-year collaboration.
Yeah, let me share
So it
this
sounds
just
like,
quickly.
yeah. So
Is this it? There we go. Yeah.
so it sounds like instead of using ChatGPT, Apple will leverage Gemini as to drive Siri, to drive a personalized AI on Apple devices. This is huge. This is wild, actually.
Yeah, dude, what happened? Like there was an announcement where OpenAI said they were like gonna be integrated into Apple, and I guess that's not happening.
That's not happening. What do you think happened? Any hypotheses on what the fallout was?
Dude, there's actually a lot of angles on this. Like well, I throw it back to you. Well, is Apple winning in AI or losing? Like by like kind of sitting this like round out, is it smart for them? Like, what do you think?
Sorry, smart for who?
For Apple, right? They never invested in an LLM. They don't really have an AI strategy or initiative or, product. They kind of pretended with Apple Intelligence at one point, and then like Siri still kind of is just terrible, right? Like, I found that all really interesting, and I'm curious if you think that was like a smart move. There's kind of like there's two interpretations. One is like it was really smart. They didn't make that investment, and they're just going to own whatever the hardware layer that they own and the
Yeah,
connection to the consumer, which is really valuable, right? And
yeah,
that why even bother? Just give the keys to the kingdom to Google or OpenAI or whoever Google. The
yeah.
other interpretation is like the keys of the kingdom have gone to Google. Like, is that good for Apple?
So, so I think Apple's really good at figuring out what the consumer want,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
AI so far has been really focused on B2B, so business side. Nobody has figured out AI for consumer yet. Not really. Not really. So Apple, I think with this partnership, they are actually going to roll out personalized AI. And I think the market is so huge that they're willing to partner up with Google.
All right. You're
They
totally
figure,
wrong. This is what I think. I think I know the answer.
go for it.
Johnny Ives works at
Oh, works at
OpenAI.
OpenAI?
Yeah, I just remember this. Johnny AI. Johnny AI.
Yeah, that's right. Johnny.
Johnny AI Ives is at ChatGPT and OpenAI creating a competitor to the iPhone, and that is why Apple does not want to partner with OpenAI. It also makes me think that
That
whatever
makes
they
sense.
release might actually be good. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, it's garbage. I don't want it." I am going to get it. I'm going to try it out. I think it's going to be some form of the humane AI pin and the friend puck. It's going to be some kind of like voice activated device. You go around recording
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I actually think that Johnny Ives is a genius. I think the device is going to be cool, and I'm going to try it out. It might not, which is okay too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It might flop, but I think that they're really onto something. They've got a lot of money, and Apple, in one interpretation, is scared.
So I'll push back on this. I'll
Okay.
push back on this. Johnny Ive, no doubt he's going to create something really beautiful. And I read the specs or the rumors of
Okay.
what's coming. So they're going to use, first of all, it's a small device, right? Personalized device. The rumor is that it's going to use 2 nanometer chips inside of this device. There's only literally two, three companies in the world that can make this device. So it's obviously based in China. I think that what Apple is really good at is they can figure out the device, like the iPhone, and manufacture a billion of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what Tim Cook is amazing at. He is the supply chain guy. He figured out how to manufacture billions of iPhones over people like Johnny Ives, who are designers and product people. For ChatGPT or for OpenAI and Johnny Ive to challenge Apple on this, they need to figure out the supply chain. They need to basically figure out how to get this device into a billion people's hands. I don't think they know how to do that.
Well, it's
So
super. It's super hard. It
it's
takes
super
time.
hard. Yeah. I I think the relationships are not there, the trust is not there, the manufacturing know-how is not there. Only companies like maybe Samsung, Apple, two of the only consumer companies in the world that can distribute a
Great.
device to a
Dude,
billion
this is
people.
a really good question. I don't think the distribution matters at this point. I think having a breakthrough device that people like is so like what held back
That's
the
true.
humane AI pin was not
Yeah, yeah,
manufacturing. What
yeah.
held back like I don't know Meta Ray Bans is not manufacturing. Like what's been holding. I mean I remember when I was a kid, but I don't remember the device or the physical product today where there's more demand than they can meet. Like when I was young, I remember that there'd be some toy, some computer device or external peripheral or hard drive. I feel so old that like they were hard to get because they just really couldn't manufacture enough of them, and there was so much demand, people were buying them. Right? I can't remember the last time. Well, I guess during the pandemic, perhaps there were like shortages of like physical things, but I can't remember the last time that that was
So,
the barrier.
well, there's a huge demand of hard drives and memory sticks. So memory, RAM inside of computers right now. The
Yeah,
price of hard drives and RAM doubled.
but the people are able to like deliver them. It's not like a huge backlog.
No, no, no. There is literally a shortage. You cannot get your hands on these components inside of like hobby computer stores.
But like what device is it?
So,
No one's
so
lining up to get it though.
so PC gamers, right? So PC gamer has been this like consistent consumer base that buys computer parts like RAM and hard drives. And because of the AI stuff, they can't get their hands on memories anymore, or it's the price has doubled. So
Oh,
like
I see.
for it is actually so with the device that ChatGPT and Johnny Ives talked about, it's based on 2 nanometer chip technology. We have not figured that technology out yet. It's
Oh, I see.
pushing. You're literally putting your entire phone into a smaller device.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I think that's interesting. I did hear about that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't experienced it like personally, and I don't know anyone has. But like, but I think the reality is that if they can sell 100,000, 200,000 of these things, it'd be a huge hit. And I think there's enough. I actually don't know for sure,
You
but
think
like
so?
my guess is that there's capacity for that. Yeah, I think like a new device like to drive. How many humane AI pins did they sell? We can actually look it up. It wasn't a lot.
But okay, remember when AirPods came out?
Uh huh.
When like I remember very early on, I got I got the first generation AirPods, and people literally stopped me in the streets and asked me how it is. And
Okay.
there were lots of chatter online that says like this is the dumbest thing Apple has ever came out with.
AirPods?
AirPods, for sure. And then suddenly millions of people started wearing AirPods, and it became like this cool thing, right? I do still think you need millions of people to wear a device to make it.
Yeah, it takes time. Okay, I got the numbers. Main AI pin was targeting 100,000.
Yeah. How many did?
They sold 10,000. It was a flop.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's a
So
flop.
that's what I think. Like if this new device comes out and they sell 100, 200, 300,000, like that's a hit in the hardware world.
But
And then
then
it
there
takes
is
time to get adoption up to like 500,000, a million. That takes
million.
years to happen. It's just it doesn't happen fast.
I see. I see.
That's what I
I
think.
see. Well, let's see.
Okay.
Um,
What else you want to say about we got the Gemini stuff? Um, is there anything else we should talk about? I mean, it will be powering, right? It will be powering Apple Intelligence. So I don't think they've been specific about this, but my hope is that it'll make Siri work. Like Siri is a disaster.
very low bar.
Do you ever
Very,
do you ever use it?
no,
I know
no.
some people that actually are like that are good with it, but like every time I've ever used it, it just is a total fail. And I'm
It's a
just so
total.
frustrated, I just give up. So if like Siri was like relatively easy to use, like the ChatGPT voice activated feature works great. Like I can talk to it, have conversations, it does what I need to do. Like if Siri achieves that level of like um competence would be fantastic, right? And so I hope that this partnership with Gemini and Google does that.
And
All right, what
also, Google rolled out. We'll talk about this quickly with the personal intelligence stuff. So they're rolling this out
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
personal.
This is important. Let me share this. Yeah, keep talking.
So Google announced personal intelligence a couple of days ago. They're rolling this out for personal Gmails, personal Google Photos, YouTube histories, and they're going to roll this all out into Gemini app so that you can chat against your personal emails, photos, YouTube, everything that Google already knows about you. Super cool. I think it will work really well if they incorporate this into Apple devices as well, right? So maybe they get access to Apple Health. They can get access to all of your device information, metadata. I would love to have a conversation with my phone, how to get more active, be more healthy, etc.
Yeah, I thought Google did a good job with this thread.
Very good job. Very good job.
Yeah, I think this is big. And the other thing I wanted to mention about this is like, I think it's changed the game in terms of marketing. So if like your inbox now is going to be algorithmic and summarized, and very few people are going to like use email in the capacity they used to
Yes.
use it.
Yes.
I think
So,
it's yeah, it's big for email. I think it's bad for email marketing. I
totally
think it
bad
just
marketing. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what happens with like Beehive newsletters and stuff. Do they get summarized? Does that continue to be something that people want to read? I actually don't know how that's going to work with this new Google tool.
Summarized. People are gonna stop visiting aggregator sites because you can ask questions. Show me the top 10 travel destinations. Book me a flight. Book hotels. It's gonna change how we
Yeah,
browse the internet.
I think it's a big deal. Have you tried it? Is it available yet?
No, it's not available yet. I'm on the wait list.
Yeah, I'm interested. Okay. Let's talk quickly about this UCP stuff.
Let's do it. So actually, this kind of like plugs into what we literally just talked about, right? So if people are
Yeah, is that the
um,
Google announcement, right?
another Google announcement, they've announced something called Universal Commerce Protocol, which is a wrapper around things like MCP and a couple other protocols. What it enables is it puts a commerce layer, so checkout, payment, on top of all of these AI native protocols. Um, all it means is that now you can interact with AI inside of Gemini, let's say, and also the Gemini will talk to things like Shopify. And basically it will let you purchase things directly inside of AI instead of going off a platform. So this is huge because um, AI is becoming this huge aggregator of places where you can buy things. So the biggest thing that Shopify has not really ever figured out is how to create a marketplace similar to Amazon. They let people create e-commerce stores. None of the e-commerce stores technically are grouped together so that you can't really shop across multiple e-commerce stores, right? You have
Shopify
to,
stores, they're all disconnected. They're
they're
all
all disconnected.
fragmented. Yeah.
Correct, correct. And there has been attempts to create things like the Shop app where you can kind of search, but it doesn't have the same penetration as Amazon. But Google with this new API, it essentially says now, regardless of what platform you're on, you could be on Shopify, you could be on TikTok Shop. All of that gets aggregated into AI, and the user can shop across all of them. That's huge. That's
Yeah, it's
gonna
interesting. Like all the building blocks being put into place for like AI to crush and converge a lot of things into one interface. Well, what I don't know is like, will consumers accept this and will consumer adoption go in this direction? Google's pretty powerful and they can force it, but I don't know if people want everything into one kind of super chat app. Maybe. Uh, it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. I also think this UCP thing is interesting because MCP came out. We talked a lot about MCP at one point,
that's
and
right.
then it kind of didn't really go anywhere. I think it was
Yeah,
missing some elements, and like what people want to do with MCP is create a protocol so they can do agentic shopping, and now
that's
that's
right.
available. And so that use case I described before, like, hey, get me this drivetrain cleaner from my bicycle. Like now you actually have the building blocks in place to do that. And then, like you said too, the implications are pretty big that it conceivably could go across every single Shopify store in one shot. And that was not something that was like easy to do
Yeah,
before.
exactly. So like the problem with MCP was a few folds, right? So with all of these protocols, you kind of have to convince the developers to adopt it. And the
Hmm.
developers tried the MCP and they quickly realized that it's just not that good. So there's can't go into the details. It just uses too much token. It's very verbose. So the cost incentives of using MCP will just weren't there.
Yeah.
So like now basically what Google has done is okay, let's focus on the consumer side of things. Let's not kind of talk or put too much attention on MCP. Let's just combine all of these AI native protocols into one and focus on what people actually care about, which is just buying things.
Right. And
So
MCP had no commerce
no commerce
aspect
native.
to it. And
Correct.
other people released things and there was all these like hacks and like workarounds. So this is just everything you need to do shopping in one like
Yeah.
protocol,
Yeah.
which is what is I think what people want. I'm still skeptical that this will get adoption. These things come out all the time when like there's some new technology that emerges. They don't always get adoption. So the idea that like I can see why this is good for Google. To some degree, I can see why this is good for Shopify. But do consumers adopt this? Do they say like, yeah, this is how I want to do it? This is great for me. It's convenient, simple, and easy. That one I'm not sure about at all.
I so I think the precursor to this is Google Shop. So this is where on Google, if you search for a product name, there's a specific tab for shopping.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
Google probably had enough stats or data around the number of people who would just go to that tab instead of visiting the actual website. I think they have enough knowledge to know if this will be successful. Personally, I will use this.
Yeah, I could see advantages to it if I could talk to my phone and it was easy and it heard and it like heard what I said. It wasn't just totally confused by it. And it, like so you have to have a lot of elements, right? Voice chat needs to work relatively well. It needs to be able to connect to some of my like Amazon account or Shopify account or something like that, right? But if I could just speak to it, say like order me my coffee that I love or order me like these things that I need, and I could just make that happen in like a flash like that. I didn't have to like go and text and type and open up things like that would be really convenient. And so
So
I
that
don't
would
know if
be
this unlocks that, but I could see a
right.
future where it is valuable.
Right. So that's going to be super convenient. The second thing, I'm just kind of going to the weeds now, is, you still kind of have to like sign up to things on every single e-commerce website. You have to like
Yeah, you got an account everywhere.
got an
Absolutely.
account everywhere. I have like probably 1,000 accounts on different e-commerce sites, like coffee shops that
Yeah.
I've been to once. And then like somehow I sign up to the royalty program, so I occasionally get emails from them. Hopefully that all goes away.
Dude,
That
that
will
is
be a
like
net win.
that's an old one, man. That's like uh back at the like live journal days when I was at live journal.
Right?
I mean, did that people that problem because like the founder of live journal, Brad Fitzpatrick, he's a bit of a legend in the nerd world. But that was something that he was trying to solve, and I think what was this protocol called? Open ID. He had a universal login concept.
Yeah.
Exactly what you described, right? Don't you remember Facebook Connect?
Totally, totally. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's not around anymore at all, right? There's no
that's
Facebook
right.
Connect now.
Like social logging was kind of like the thing that we settled on. WordPress had that like one
Did they have a
login.
WordPress? I mean, so they're now you have the login with Google, login with Apple.
Right.
Is there a third one? I only use those two. Sometimes what happened? I actually don't even know what happened to the Facebook Connect one. It used to be everywhere,
It
but that
used to
was
be
like a
everywhere.
long time ago. And then it just kind of like people. I,
Because
I remember having customers who were like super frustrated. They're like, no one uses. Everyone doesn't want to log on Facebook, and then I guess they just got rid of it.
because
Oh my
people
god.
stopped using Facebook. So like WordPress had one
There's a
login fee.
login with WordPress. Yeah, I would never do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was the biggest one. That was the
My
biggest.
brother sent me some joke. It's like a screen with like 300 logins, and it's like login with OnlyFans,
That's
login
right.
with like yeah. I was like, I'm just gonna go all OnlyFans now. Just trust all my personal data that like login with OnlyFans. All right.
That's
Let's move on here. I got something I'm very excited to talk about.
let's do it.
So this is the 5 year stock chart of Tesla. Is there a way I can make this bigger? I don't know. They changed this interface, and I'm not excited about it. But there we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now we're talking. So
Nice.
this is the 5 year Tesla chart, and it's close to like not exactly, but it's close to an all time high. Uh, which I was surprised. I looked at this the other day, and I was like, Tesla. They had this peak back in 2019, and it just has been like a long decline. That 2023, like that real crash right there, that's around like was that the Twitter purchase, right? Or the Twitter, like, or I mean, this stock has been through some tough times.
Yeah.
And I sold it like a long time ago, and it really was just it was just not on my radar
Yeah.
as Tesla sales declined. So like they're
Right.
not selling as many cars as they were,
Right.
and they still sell cars, but like it's not a growth stock or growth business from like a sales perspective, which
Right.
was when I kind of like stopped paying attention at it as like an investment or a stock. But obviously shareholders like someone's buying this and they believe that the Optimus product will work. The
Optimus. The
robo
robo.
taxi, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that Elon's been promising that obviously like someone believes in. But what I thought was really important about this, and then I'll let you get a word in. But what I thought was really important about this is that the stock is so high that it possibly means there will be no SpaceX IPO, and that Tesla and SpaceX will just merge. If the stock was in the toilet, not doing well, I just don't think it would be possible for that to happen. But given the strength of the Tesla stock, I think that is a possible scenario. And I've heard other people say this too, that SpaceX actually will not go public. It'll all get crushed into Tesla stocks. And Tesla will represent, XAI, AI company. It'll represent Twitter. It'll represent Tesla, the car company. It'll represent SpaceX, the space company. And it'll also represent Starlink, right? So you've got
Yeah.
like this
Yep.
industrial conglomerate like no other, which, in spite of all its like flaws and challenges, which there are many, it's still an incredible company if all of that comes together. I guess is kind of like how I would position this. What do you think about this?
I think that's a really smart way of putting it. If they just aggregate everything, kind of follow what Alphabet did with Google products. Now the question is, do you think it's still a discount? Would you buy today? Would you buy Tesla?
Oh my god, that's a great question. Because I looked at it today, and I was like, should I buy this? I couldn't pull the trigger, at least not today. I was like, I just it's expensive. It's purely speculative that it'll merge with SpaceX. I think that might be partially what's driving some of this, is that there's definitely a group of people who think that that's going to happen. So I haven't bought it yet. It's on my radar. I think it's interesting. I like the idea of like this massive conglomerate of, modern industrial companies. I also think it's like perhaps important to point out that like, Elon really saw his brand. I'm gonna use the word like explode during the election. Like it's no secret that I'm a big fan of Elon, big supporter. I'm on X. I think all this stuff is for the most part great, but like that was not smart. Like it was not smart, and it really hurt him really bad. And I'm glad to see that he's still involved, and that's his right to be involved. But like he's taken a step back. He doesn't have to like personally appear on stage with Trump. Like that's just not something I think I would not recommend it. So I think it's good that he's no longer doing those things. And I would like Elon to just continue to focus on, building rockets, catching them out of the sky, and sending things to Mars. Like that's what I think is really cool. Oh, and launching satellites in Starlink.
Oh, he's got too many things to be distracted by politics.
I think it's even important to point out, because like we always get lots of comments when we talk about Elon. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative. I think it's important. Like I understand why he got involved in politics too. Like they really went after him in a big way, and I
Sure.
would say they forced his hand, but still, like his just the way he put himself personally, like in like with Doge and all that, I just think that was a huge mistake,
Yeah, I
huge
think so.
distraction. Just focus on doing cool stuff, being an innovator, inventing things, like just pushing the technology. It's so impressive. Just do that.
Yeah, he just wants to fix things. And then I think the biggest lesson out of this is that he realized the government's not fixable. It's
So
unfixable. That's
awesome point.
literally what he said.
I've made this point many times on X. I think it shows the limits to some degree of like this very right brain, very like
That's
engineering, very
engineering.
quantitative approach. I like to joke that like he couldn't really fix Twitter, because it turns out that like advertising and marketing is harder than rocket science.
That's right. That's right. For somebody like that's extremely engineering focused.
It's not the problem that can be solved in an engineering way, right? Like and just the damage he's done to like the brand and the reputation
Right.
is
You
just
can't
terrible.
uh you can't put a handful of really, really smart people into a room and like fix all of this. You need hundreds and thousands of people to just like chip away at it.
I
I
know
think that's one
people have
thing
a
that
ton of opinions on this, and so that's
yeah.
fine, and that's fine. We'll get comments.
Okay. Cool.
I don't.
We'll
I
give
mean,
YouTube a soundbite. Elon Musk cannot fix the government.
yeah. Well, I was thinking about X, right? Like they've made all these changes on X, and I don't know if it improved the experience at all. Like I find it to be really painful to be on there still, and I can't give up. I've been on a long
So
time. I met a lot of people on there. I met you on there. This show started on X. Like I've got a lot of like value, and a lot of like friends, and a lot of things for me have happened on X. But like it can be like really painful to be on that app, and I struggle with this all the time.
what I've noticed is really just X cannot make up its mind um, to help small accounts grow or retain big accounts. So like people are just saying like, why am I not seeing my followers or my followings content? And you look at some of the big accounts, they follow literally tens and thousands of people. So it doesn't make sense for them to see the people that, right? And then the algorithm just shifts constantly back and forth between helping small accounts grow versus helping big accounts get retained exposure. It's a hard problem to solve.
I don't actually. I love to like pretend like I know the answer to fixing X, but I actually don't think
Nobody
I
knows.
know.
X doesn't
I
know.
I I always feel like going back to follower count mattering is better. I don't like it's 100% algorithmic. It doesn't matter who you follow or I follow you, and it just like tweets pop for no reason. That part I just find like it's like kind of like gambling. I don't like that at all. I wish there was more predictability to like how things work. And if you had more people following you, you would get more reach. It's very logical. That's how social media worked in the beginning. You could attract more followers. That's why they're called followers. They follow you to read your content. So like
Yeah.
in my mind, like some
Yep.
form of like that being influential on like how the content and how the feed gets doled out is I think how I guess all social media should work. Like I think it should go back to some form of that. The idea like follower counts don't necessarily matter. I think sucks. That's my statement. How's that?
Yeah, totally. And
Okay.
then I'll have the answer. They'll figure it out. Or
I don't.
not.
I mean, like I don't. No one knows. I do think Nikita is doing a good job. That's a hard job. I think he's really bold for taking that on too to be head of product at Twitter. He's got the right attitude.
Or
So
stupid.
I, I don't know. He's got the right approach. Like he's doing a good job. It's just a really hard job. It's a really hard product to.
Yeah. Thankless too. You're always going to piss off somebody. You know, like even
Oh
if you
yeah.
get it right, you're gonna somebody's not gonna be happy.
Oh, dude. I mean the like online discourse between him and Elon is hilarious. Like that's like your boss. Like you're like debating out in the open on. Yeah, it's that guy's like. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about like just quickly. I don't want to go too far into this stuff, but
Yeah,
I
what's
do
going on
think
in
we should.
Meta?
Yeah, we should talk about the meta layoffs a little bit. There's a lot of layoffs happening in general, actually, not just in high tech. There was even like a bunch of layoffs at Citibank and stuff. So companies are still like right sizing. I think they overhired during the pandemic, and so they're still trying to sort this out. But I think what's ironic about this one is did Zuckerberg rename the company for like a completely failed product?
Yes.
Like who uses this
Yes.
stuff?
Metaverse?
No one
Nobody.
goes in the metaverse. I have no interest in the metaverse at all. I do. I like. I've joked about before. I do think augmented reality glasses are a cool idea. I read about them and I get excited, and then I stop reading about it and I go do something else and I completely forget about them. But I do think, and there's a part of me that would get value out of like wearing glasses that had some kind of internet access. But the 3D like fake metaverse, like I have zero interest.
Yeah. I think they just completely dropped the ball on the go-to-market strategy with it. Like they couldn't ship enough units. It's like the new Apple device as well, right? They need to get 100,000 shipped, then 500,000, then maybe 1,000,000.
They can't ship them because no one wants it.
Nobody
No one
wants
wants to go in this like
it.
cornball 3D universe that like looks like a video game from like 1995. No one wants it.
And also, Zuckerberg was like the face of the device. Every time you saw a picture of the metaverse, it had his like pasty face. Like, get somebody that's like, I don't know, get Sydney Sweeney in the metaverse.
Okay, you're making it sound more interesting. I'm down for that. But that brings up a great point. I remember when the metaverse like first launched, and there's all that like harassment in the metaverse and stuff. Like, dude, I just think the whole thing doesn't work. Like, look at the way people get harassed and the like insanity of Twitter.
Uh-huh.
And add like a 3D layer to it.
Add a 3D layer to it.
It's
You're
just
super anonymous.
it's a terrible idea. It's like I don't think there's
Terrible.
any way. Like, what kind of guardrails would you put in there? Like, would you literally prevent people from like
Yeah, like,
lewd gestures? Like, just think of all the stuff people can do, right? It's like, how do you police any of that? It's like I actually never even thought that deeply about it because the whole thing is so, in my opinion, obviously ridiculous. But like, you're gonna attract a bunch of like 14 to 18-year-old boys, and in between like shooting each other on Call of Duty, they're gonna go into the metaverse and chat. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, it's really obvious to me, like what I would have done when I was 15, when I would go into like the metaverse or something. So I just don't see any way that this thing. I think it's a total
yeah.
failure.
Or you literally just go sell this to 15 to 18-year-olds, right? But that's how
But
Facebook started, right? Like that's
dude,
literally how Facebook started, which is
no
this
one,
thing,
no one wants it.
no
No one
adult.
wants it. No one wants it. I think so that what dude, so did I told you about this? Like, I remember like the first virtual world boom with like Second Life, and there were actually a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were like trying to sell these like sponsorships, and we sold
Inside
some
of
video game. Yeah. But the
okay.
video game people bought sponsorships because it was like it aligned really well with their audience, whatever. The video game people were like, this is just a video game with like nothing to do. And I think they actually kind of nailed the problem with like metaverses. Like, we have a thing called games, and you could play these 3D games. You could play Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty, and you could run around, like go on missions and shoot stuff and do all kinds
Without
of
a crazy looking.
wild stuff. You go into the metaverse and there's nothing happening. Like, you have to like invent your own narrative. It's a complete bore. Like, it's not interesting to people.
Steve Jobs solved this with the App Store, right? Like when iPhone first released, you what the heck did
All
you
right, we're done talking about that. I'm done. The metaverse is failure. He renamed it. He should go back to calling the company like Facebook or something. I don't know.
Facebook? Go back to Facebook.
I
Sure.
think so. Okay,
All right,
okay.
the next one.
Really
You
quickly, I'm very excited about this one. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I did want to show that, like,
it's working.
well, according to this data, I buy the narrative. I buy this narrative. Everybody and their grandma lined up and said, "Oh, it's gonna not work," and even Piketty and all these famous economists were like, "It's a disaster," blah blah, and they are all wrong, at least wrong based on the data that we have today in this time frame. And I would just make the point that like PhD economists like don't know everything. I
Yeah,
buy
to give
this. I think.
just
Go
the
ahead.
context for potential listeners. It's we're talking about Argentina's economy under Malay, right? Despite what all the economists has predicted.
I mean, this thing is pretty. Thomas Piketty, I think, right. 108 economists signed a letter saying they did not
Including
support. I mean, like, it's not like they just made some comments on a podcast like, "Hey, do you think this is going to work out?" It's like, "I don't know, it's not going to work," right? They literally like got together, signed a letter saying that they thought this was a failure, and they've been proven wrong. And for me, that part is like really important. I also think that it just shows like where the economics world is today. I think they're totally disconnected from reality. But that's a popular criticism of the economics profession for many years. I'm not the first person to say that. All right, let's stop with that one. Do we have anything else on our doc?
Uh, maybe
Is
we'll
that it?
quickly show this AgentCraft.
Okay, yeah, you do that one, and then we'll call it a day.
This is literally my childhood dream, where we can play RTS real time strategy video games, and orchestrate agents and be productive. I think we're not very far away from this. Where are we?
You sharing it? You
Yeah.
get it? Okay, yeah.
Okay, so basically, this person has built something called AgentCraft. It's an orchestration layer for all of your agents inside of an interface that looks like RTS games, which is a real-time strategy games, like Starcraft, for example. I'm ready.
What are these
Damn.
agents? What are these agents doing?
So they're literally, for example, like Clock Hold, right? This is just providing an interface on top of the CLIs. And essentially, you can use this interface to give commands. So,
So I could have them go buy me drive drive train bike cleaner. Is that
sure,
what you're
if
telling
you want.
me?
Yeah, if you want.
If I wanted.
It could literally be anything, right? Like basic, because if you really think about agent orchestration at the core is you're gathering inputs, so like feedback loops, logs, new piece of data, and then you're transforming them into some kind of output. And what you really, really should do is you want to give them a goal to work towards, right? So all video games has an end state. All video games has a winnable state, a winning state. So like games plus agents are actually the perfect uh, combination of interface and how you should think about orchestrating agents. Because you're multitasking, you're thinking about different things, you're thinking about resource. Resource should be like, the amount of time you have, the amount of resources you have, and then you're also managing two, three different things at the same time. I think
Look, Paul,
it's
when you vibe code an interface for an agentic marketing CRM that looks like this, I'll be the
sure.
first to sign
All right, all right. We'll make it
up.
happen. We'll make it happen.
All right, that's the show for today.
We're good. Any memes or any Elon things?
I think we're good. We'll just end on that one.
Okay. All right.
All
See
right,
you
dude.
all next week.
Take care. Bye bye.